Монголын дуу хоолой радио ярьж байна.
The Voice of Mongolia in English is speaking. Sambano, welcome to the Voice of Mongolia in English, which comes to you from Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of Mongolia. This half-hour transmission can be heard in Southeast Asia at 900 UTC on 12085 kHz and in Europe at 1430 UTC at 12015 kHz shortwave. You can also visit our website at www.vom.iman/en and listen to an online version of our daily broadcast.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of Mongolia. In today's episode we'll bring you the news followed by a music break. After that we will move on to our series titled Faces of Mongolian History. Stay tuned. Good evening and welcome to Around Mongolia. Here are the latest developments. Mongolia is calling for a major shift in the way environmental protection is financed, with a focus on measurable result and long-term investment. Speaking at the panel on a long-term conservation financing during the 17th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, representatives of Mongolia environmental sector said traditional budget mechanisms should be reformed so that funding is linked directly to environmental outcomes. The proposal is introduced to criteria-based system that measure the actual impact of conservation activities before public funds are allocated. Mongolia's environmental sector has also seen growing involvement in the banks and the private financial institutions, which are increasingly treating environmental protection as a long-term investment. Current examples include financing for water storage facilities, restoration of natural springs, local schools and green loans for herders. Officials stress that environmental spending should be viewed not as a burden but as an investment in the country's future. Meanwhile, Mongolia and the United Nations Environment Programme have announced a new $2 million project aimed at studying infectious animal diseases and reducing the risk of outbreaks. The agreement was announced during a meeting between Mongolia's Ministry of Environment and Climate Change and the United Nations Environment Programme Executive Director Inger Andersen on the sidelines of the COP17. The two sides also discussed strengthening cooperation on land degradation, drought, biodiversity, conservation, and environmental financing. Mongolia and UNEP have cooperated for decades, including on the development of a Great Gobi strictly protected area, support for a Tsaran community, peatland conservation, hazardous waste management, and the chemical pollution assessments. The sides also expressed their intention to strengthen cooperation on Mongolia's STEP Action Initiative, as well as international programs focusing on pasture, water, and nature-based solutions. They emphasized the need for practical measures and address the growing global risks posed by a drought and develop a strategic direction of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification beyond 2030. Mongolia is also seeking to expand environmental cooperation with Germany, particularly in biodiversity conservation, sustainable water use, and forest management. Mongolia's Minister of Environment and Climate Change held talks with the senior German development officials on August 23rd, focusing on cooperation with Germany and the European Union. The two sides highlighted the need for closer coordination between Mongolia's ministries and the Germany's Development Bank to make current and future environmental projects more effective. They also discussed improving legislation concerning specially protected areas and forests, while emphasizing the participation of civil society, non-governmental organizations, and local communities in environmental decision-making. Mongolia is currently working to strengthen its forest resource registration and inventory system as part of its broader policy to sustainable economic development and responsible use of natural resources. Clean energy is also being promoted as a part of efforts to improve living conditions in Ulaanbaatar's scarred districts. Mongolia's Foreign Minister and the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammad visited Çingiltepe district to review the UNDP project that is introducing solar photovoltaic system to 450 households. The project is designed to provide cleaner heating and electricity, reduce household energy costs, and help cut air pollution. The system combines solar panels with the battery storage, heat storage, electric heaters, and smart meters. And the household will also have a possibility of supplying surplus electricity to the central grid. And finally, Mongolia's nomadic cultural heritage was showcased to international visitors as a 3-day Nomads World Cultural Festival concluded in Ulaanbaatar's Nalak district. The festival brought together almost 1,000 traditional heritage bearers from across the country, who presented 362 forms of intangible cultural heritage across the 7 major domains. The event coincided with the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists and the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification COP17 conference being held in Mongolia. More than 300 delegates attending to COP17 visited the festival, giving international guests an opportunity to experience Mongolia's traditional arts, customs, and nomadic culture. Outstanding heritage bearers from different generations were recognized, including both elderly practitioners and young people learning traditional skills. The Ministry of Culture, Sports, Tourism and Youth said the festival would continue to expand with the long-term goal of developing into a major international showcase of a nomadic culture. And that's the end of today's edition of Around Mongolia. And now, let's take a music break.
Миний од надад ирлээ мөнгө шүний мартуулаа мянган одноос тасарч ирлээ мөрөөдөн хүлээсэн миний зүрхэнд чи булаа мартан холхын зовхонгүй миний зүдэнд чи ирлээ Холгын чи хүрээдээ хатган зүдийг намруудаа холын хотоос буучирлээ мөрөөдөн хүдээсэн нийт зүрхэн чи будаа từng khó thiên gió gần quê mình đi thu đến chuyện
Welcome back to the Voice of Mongolia. We hope you enjoyed that music break. Now, let's jump into today's program, Faces of Mongolian History, Mandoka the Wise Queen. When people speak about the Mongol Empire, they often speak about expansion, Genghis Khan, Ugorde, and Kublai. They speak about conquest and global power. But history does not move in only one direction. After expansion comes fragmentation. After power comes decline. By the 15th century, the unified Mongol Empire no longer existed. The Yang dynasty had fallen in 1369. The Mongol court retreated north to the steppe. What remained is often called the Northern Yuan period. It was a time of instability. Different Mongol tribes competed for influence. The Borchegong royal line still existed, but its authority was weak. Oirat leaders in the west grew powerful. Internal rivalries divided the steppe. There was no single strong ruler who could unite all Mongols. It was in this environment that Mandoka emerged. Mandoka was born around the mid-15th century. The exact year is uncertain. She was from a noble Mongol family. Historical sources describe her as an intelligent, determined, and politically aware. From a young age, she understood the unstable condition of the Mongol state. She later married the Mandul Khan, a Borchegong ruler who claimed descent from Genghis Khan. Mandul Khan ruled during a difficult period. His authority did not fully extend across all Mongol tribes. He had rivals. He had limited resources. The unity of earlier centuries was gone. Mandoka did not remain in the background. Even while Mandul Khan ruled, she was involved in the political decisions. Sources suggest she understood that the survival of Mongol identity depended on restoring a strong central leadership. In 1479, Mandul Khan died. He left no surviving adult heir. So, this was a turning point. Without a clear successor, power could easily have shifted permanently to the rival tribal leaders. The Borjigin line, the lineage of Genghis Khan, risked losing authority completely. Manduka made a decision that would define her life. Instead of allowing powerful nobles to claim control, she searched for a legitimate descendant of a Genghis Khan. She found a young boy named Batmuk, a direct descendant of the Borjigin line. Batmuk was still a child. Manduka chose to marry him. This decision wasn't personal, it was political. By marrying Batmuk, she protected her legitimacy and placed herself in a position to rule as a regent. Through this act, she preserved the Borjigin bloodline as the central authority of Mongolia. Batmuk would later be known as a dying Khan. But at the moment, he was a boy surrounded by powerful rivals. Manduka understood that legitimacy alone was not enough. Authority had to be enforced. Several Mongol tribes refused to recognize the young Khan. Oirat leaders, in particular, remained the strong opponents. The steppe was divided, but Manduka did not withdraw. She organized military campaigns. Historical chronicles describe her personally leading troops into battle. While some details come over from later sources and may contain exaggeration, there is a consistent agreement that she was directly involved in the military leadership. She faced the opposition from rival princes who believed the woman should not hold power. She faced the resistance from tribes that preferred the regional independence. She faced the reality that the Mongol state had been weakened for over a century. Her strategy was gradual consolidation. Rather than immediate large-scale conquest, Manduka focused on securing loyalty, tribe by tribe. She strengthened alliances. She rewarded supporters. She isolated rivals. Over time, she defeated or absorbed the opposition forces. One major challenge was the Oirat Confederation, which had previously dominated Mongol politics. Manduka's campaign reduced their influence and restored Borjigin authority across central and eastern Mongolia. Unlike the earlier empire-building period, this was not expansion across continents. This was internal reunification. By the late 15th century, Mongolia was more unified than it had been in generations. Batmuk, under Manduka's guidance, matured into Dayan Khan. As he grew older, he assumed more direct leadership. But the foundation of his rule had already been secured by Manduka's action. Dayan Khan reorganized Mongol territories into administrative units known as tumans. This restructuring created a more stable political order. The Borjigin line regained recognition as the legitimate ruling house of Mongolia. Manduka's role in this transformation cannot be separated from Dayan Khan's achievements. Without her early decisions, his rule might never have been possible. It's important to understand the broader context. In the 15th century, surrounding powers were also changing. The Ming dynasty ruled China to the south. Central Asian power competed to the west. The Mongol no longer controlled the global trade routes. Their strength depended on a unity within the steppe. Manduka's leadership prevented further fragmentation at a critical time. She did not attempt to recreate the world empire of the Genghis Khan. That was no longer realistic. Instead, she ensured that the Mongolia remained politically organized and ruled by its traditional lineage. Some historical accounts refer to her as a Manduka device. The title reflects later recognition of her strategic decisions. While certain details in the chronicles may have been dramatized, the overall pattern is clear. She stabilized a divided political landscape and restored a central authority. She also played a key role in raising and educating Dayan Khan. Her influence shaped his early policies and his understanding of leadership. Manduka's later years are less clearly documented. Historical records from the period are limited, and some accounts were written decades later. However, her impact is visible in political structure that followed. Under Dayan Khan and his successor, Mongolia remained under Borjigin leadership for generations. Though it never returned to its earlier imperial reach, it maintained the internal continuity and identity. Manduka's life challenges common assumption that leadership in medieval societies. She operated within traditional structures, yet exercised the real authority. She used marriage not as a submission, but as a political strategy. She led armies into a culture that valued strength and loyalty above all. Her leadership was not symbolic, it was practical. She made decisions under pressure. She acted during instability. She prioritized long-term survival over short-term power. In historical analysis, her importance lies in three areas. First, legitimacy. She preserved the Borjigin line when it was vulnerable. Second, reunification. She reduced the tribal fragmentation and restored centralized rule. Third, continuity. She ensured that Mongolian statehood did not dissolve after the fall of the Yuan dynasty. Without Manduka, the political map of Mongolia in the late 15th century might have looked very different. Her story is not about global conquest. It's about internal strength. It's about understanding that survival sometimes requires rebuilding, not expanding. Today, Mandoka is remembered as one of the most significant female leaders in Mongolian history. Her legacy stands alongside Khans and generals, not beneath them. She represents a different form of power, one rooted in strategy, endurance, and political intelligence. And that's why she stands as another defining face in our series, Faces of Mongolian History, Mandoka the Wise Queen.
That's the end of the program, which comes to you from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. The Voice of Mongolia provides half-hour transmission to Southeast Asia at 900 UTC on 12085 kHz and in Europe at 1430 UTC on 12015 kHz shortwave. You can also download the phone application MNB Radio and listen to all the programs of Voice of Mongolia. Your emails and letters are most welcome with your feedbacks and detailed reception report. Please either email them to vom_en@yahoo.com or send them to the English section, The Voice of Mongolia, CPO Box 365, Ulaanbaatar 13, Mongolia. Thank you for listening. Bye.